evening. This is Jen Kilo India 1 Tango Tango Yankee, your net control operator for the River City ARC's Slow Scan TV net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA November 6, November Alpha repeater on 441.30 megahertz. River City ARC's members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break, break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net control will stand by for you and the net until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing, and as with other nets for me, please speak slowly, like Kilo India 1 Tango Tango Yankee Jen Sacramento. And at that speed, I can list you pretty quickly and get us going. Thanks so much. Stations who wish to, let's see, any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now, and I will acknowledge you one at a time. Thanks so much.
I'll start. November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob in Northmost Roseville.
Thank you, Bob.
And I'll be number 2, AI6TG, Joel in Florence.
AI6TG, that was Bill, right? So I have November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob in Northmost Roseville, and AI6DG. That's Bill, correct?
Negative, Joel, Juliet Oscar Echo Lima.
Thank you, Joel. Anyone else for the Slow Scan TV net?
No. Hotel, this is Anders in Folsom.
November Romeo 6 Hotel. Anders, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Nice to hear from you. Anybody else for Slow Scan TV?
This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta Carol in Citrus Heights, and we have Kilo Foxtrot 0 Delta Romeo 0. I'm sorry, Kilo Foxtrot 0 Delta Romeo Delta. That's Dustin in Kansas City, Missouri on YouTube chat.
Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta. Carol, thanks for joining us and doing the Slow Scan TV YouTube channel. And thanks for introducing us to our companion on YouTube on the chat. Hope you can watch all the goodies tonight. Do we have any others for Slow Scan TV this evening?
Yeah, Craig just joined us also on the chat. That's Whiskey Papa 2 November in Louisiana.
Oh, great. So our regular Craig is joining us. That's great. Welcome, Craig. Thanks for joining us. All right. And do we have anybody else? Alrighty, well, let's just move right along to our first person here, and that would be N6PGQ Bob. Let's have you go ahead if you're ready to send a transmission, a picture, and let's get going.
Okay, could I check and make sure I have a tone first?
please. Yep.
Okay, well, this will be PD 120.
That's a great picture, Bob. This is Kilo India 1 Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City Arcs Slow Scan TV Net that starts at 9 p.m. So N6PGQ has sent a picture, and AI6DG, Joel, what do you think?
A little early for Christmas mode, but we're looking at a Christmas a Disney oriented centerpiece of some kind. Goofy's staring at us in his usual look with he's holding a stack of gifts. Looks like there's a Christmas tree in the background with socks and hanging off of some of the limbs and some snow on the needles. I think I see Daffy Duck's girlfriend to the left. Looks like they're in a circle, all looking out. Goofy's looking at us. Daffy's girlfriend's looking kind of to the right, to the left. I think maybe I see a bit of Minnie Mouse, and maybe a character to the other side of her. I can't quite tell. Another blue-bowed gift box on the ground to the left. Don't recognize the piece or the event. I mean, other than Christmas. So let's hear more. Look forward. Back to net, AI6DG.
Thank you so much, Joel. Anders, NR6H, November Romeo 6 Hotel. What do you think?
Good evening, Jen and the team. This is Anders, NR6H. Yeah, picture very well received. Good colors, good sharpness. Few pixel pops spread out over the whole image, but not too disturbing. Joel, I think, described everything very well. The thing I can add is to trying to see the scale here. The Christmas tree has some kind of shine to the base, so I'm going to guess that this is some made out of some form of ceramic. At least the tree in the back there looks a little ceramic-y, maybe. And yeah, I had to look it up. It's 130 days till Christmas, just FYI. NR6H, back to net.
Oh my God, you're killing me, Anders, as well as Bob. All right, this is Kilo India 1, Tango Tango Yankee. All right, and Carol, anything to add before we go to Bob? KP4MD.
Yeah, good picture here. I think I have 2 or 3 dozen pixel pops, but Dustin out there in Kansas City, Missouri, has MMSSTV running, and he's decoding the tones coming over YouTube, and he actually got a decode that way via the YouTube audio. So congratulations to Dustin as well. Back to Nets, KP for MD.
Thank you, KP4MD. This is Kilo India 1, Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net. All right, Bob, PGQ, tell us what's going on here.
Well, I was shopping at Costco this morning and wandered by, and here, rotating around, is this tabletop display of Disney characters with presents in front of a Christmas tree. And this is the 16th of August, and I think they're trying to get my money before anybody else does. I had to make my comment that, they always used to talk about Christmas in July, but I think we're about to get there. So anyway, I had to send this. It isn't exactly part of my analog series, but there it is, N6PGQ.
Oh my, Bob, it's so sad that oh my God, it's just barely a half year. I can't take it. All right, so AI6, DG Joel, you're ready to go?
Let me add my call sign, just a moment. Was that a blip?
I got a tone.
Martin 1, the original, just not high enough resolution enough to warrant PD 120. So this is Martin 1.
All right, this is big and interesting. This is Kilo India 1, and you're listening to the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net that starts at 9. I just want to check and make sure there's no one else out there, or let's see if there is anybody else out there who would like to join our Slow Scan TV Net this evening. All right, let's go down to, let's see, Dustin and Craig. I guess it's going to be Bob. Bob, what do you think about Joel's picture here? And I would just want to remind folks, please start, if you can, with picture quality and any issues that you have on your transmission, and then what is it? Thanks so much.
Well, the picture quality is really quite good. Not a lot of pixel pops. You can see a couple in the brown in the center. And I was thinking this was going to be, something really small and, sitting on a desktop until we saw the car in the bottom right with its hatch open. I have no idea what this thing is. My guess, and you know me, I'm always guessing wrong, I'm guessing this is part of like a drill that would go into a mine. But we'll find out in 6PGQ.
N6PGQ, Kilo Indy 1 Tango Tango Yankee. Thanks so much for your input. That was my thought too. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. I have 0 pixel pops that I can see on my picture. Just a little fuzziness on the right-hand side where there's a light bulb. There's a car. There looks like a railing in the foreground, and in the background, this reminds me, and I heard somebody else saying this on another 2-meter channel. They were talking about Big Bertha, and this reminds me of one of the boring heads that they used for coring out the Big Bertha tunnel in Seattle. So that's my 2 cents worth, and let's move on to Anders. Anders, NR6H, what do you think?
So technically a good reception. The colors are a little washed out, I would say, and obviously the resolution is lower because of the mode, so it's only 320 by 256, but so there's a little bit of blockiness in the image overall. Not too many pixel pops though, but yeah, I would say the colors are a little washed out, a little weak. I have a guess that I'm pretty confident about, and knowing where Joel just spent a week down in Las Vegas, I think this is a piece of the Boring company's equipment. So Mr. Elon is drilling more holes around Vegas, and I think he got the contract to drill a really long tunnel or a few long tunnels going up and down the strip there. So I think that's what this is. It's a boring head for the Boring company. NR6H, back to net.
Copy that, Anders. Thanks so much. KP4MD, what are your thoughts on this?
This is KP4MD. This would be my first guess, some kind of a tunnel boring head. However, Dustin from the Heartland says it looks like a grain silo being moved or being serviced. That's a good guess there from the prairies. Back to nets, KP4MD.
Thanks so much, Carol, and thanks very much, Dustin, for throwing in your 2 cents worth and letting us know what your thoughts on this. Craig, don't forget to pipe in too, because we're watching the chat box on the YouTube channel. So AI6DG, Joel, tell us what your picture is. And I just want to say, were you in a car when you were taking this? Thanks. Go ahead.
So I'm with Anders. I'm assuming that this is part of the equipment being used by the Boring company in Las Vegas to bore the holes that are supposed to take the place of the monorail, below ground instead of above ground. But meanwhile, I was riding the monorail around, and it goes across the back side of the Wynn Golf Course, and in that back side they store things. You can find some interesting things there, big trees. In this case, a big boring drill bit thingy, bob. I don't know what you would call it, but I'm assuming that this is part of the equipment used to drill the new subways that they're driving Teslas through, and as you can tell by the size of the SUV next to it, it's quite big and about right to have a one-lane road underground. Yes, that's a railing because that's a railing on the other track of the monorail that I was looking across. The track I was on the far side from what the picture is of. And had a good time. It's Las Vegas, hard not to have a good time, but it's Las Vegas, and wow, was it hot. I belatedly realized, oh, wait a minute, maybe the peak temperature time of the day is not the good time to go wandering around playing tourist. Managed to find some nice air-conditioned spots, though, so managed to survive. But enjoy. Back to net. Thanks for doing the net. AI6CG.
Kilo India 1 Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City ARC's Slow Scan TV Net at 9 p.m. So much, Joel, for that picture. That's really interesting. It does make me think of the Big Bertha boar up in Seattle. I've just got pictures from that I was scanning through a day or so ago. Okay, let's move on to November Romeo 6 Hotel Anders. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, I have a PD 120. See if I got all my knobs in the right position. Here we go.
This is Kilo India 1 Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City ARC's Slow Scan TV Net that begins at 9 p.m. on 441300. KP4MD, this is an interesting picture. What do you think we have here? And I see some waviness, so let me know if you're seeing the same thing.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Well, I could read. I think Anders has sent a picture of this before. There's a lot of ghosting. Those parallel lines on the left and the right caused by acoustic echoes, and I'm thinking that maybe Anders has an open microphone or doing something. You see this often with acoustic coupling when you're not using an audio interface, or if you have an open microphone one. You're sending the picture, and the tone is also being picked up by the microphone, so you're getting echoes there. That's what that is. That's an acoustic echo effect. I could read on the board on the lower half of the picture, choke EFHW, which kind of gives it away, end-fed half wave. And this is a board, of course, that has the choke in there, and it has the transformer, which would usually be for end-fed half wave, would be a 49-to-1 impedance transformation. And then there's a wing nut on the bottom that says counterpoise, and the BNC connector on the left side of the board. Up on the top, of course, in the upper right-hand corner, you have the toroid cores that are being wound. And in the upper left, it's just the components that have not been assembled yet. Very nice picture, except a lot of that ghosting in the picture you could see on YouTube. Back to Netscape framed.
Thanks so much, Carol. Online, we've got comments from Andrew. He says this is a QRP kit, antenna tuner, or maybe a balun of some type, or an antenna kit. And Dustin says he's got wavy vertical hash in the picture. Looks like a balun kit. And so I will move on to Bob, N6PGQ. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think Carol pretty much took care of it. Quality is good, except for the wavy lines and the vertical stripes. Few pixel pops here and there. I can't do much of additional descriptions, except up in the right corner it shows the toroids being wound, and it looks like it's the same thing that's installed down on the bottom on the circuit board. Back to you, N6PGQ.
Copy that, Bob. Thanks so much. I seem to remember that I saw something recently from AE6JG related to this, and I want to say this is, at least the bottom part, is part of a build for the general class that Anders and AE6JG James are teaching for the Sierra Foothills class. So, Anders, NR6H, tell us what you got here.
Yeah, you nailed it. That is exactly it. It's the unfed half-wave kit, but it's actually not exactly this. This is the upgraded version with 2 cores that actually has an isolation transformer array, or a 1-to-1 transformer before the auto transformer that's a 1-to-49 transformer down in the bottom right corner. But yeah, this board is something that we made recently here for the class, and we've done 2 other versions of this board with just a single core on them, and those are the versions that we're going to build in the class. So yeah, that's what it is. Small little kit using the FT140 cores. So I don't think you want to run 100 watt all the time on this, but 50 works pretty well. And I just threw this together tonight just to make sure that we had the fit, that everything worked on the PCB and fit in the box. So that is exactly it. And the waviness, thanks for the feedback. I know exactly what happened. I am running my audio through an external mixer with multiple buses, and I had one knob feeding back the audio from the radio into the feed, and that's why we got the waviness. So it wasn't an open mic, it was an open channel. NR6H, back to Net.
Anders, thanks so much for the explanation of that. And for those that are out there that don't know about the class, you can go to, Sierra Foothills, Anders' website, and you can join the general class. If you haven't taken your tech class, there's a tech class that starts in October, and an extra class that will be taught in, I think, winter or spring. Is that correct, Anders?
w6ek.org. So w6ek.org, and there is a link there for the classes. That is absolutely correct, and I think the schedule is also up there. And yes, there is a general class that just started. We're on lesson or class number 3, I believe, out of 8 next week, and then we have a tech class that starts in late September, and then an extra class that starts in, I believe, January sometime. So that's the next 2 classes. But that's exactly it. Thanks so much for bringing it up. NR6H, back to net.
This is Kilo India 1, Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City Arcs Slow Scan TV Net that starts at 9 on 441.300. And thanks, Anders, for that, and Carol for posting it on the chat section for Andrew, Craig, and Dustin. For those that are listening, you can join those classes via Zoom, and I presume that for a few extra bit of coin, if you're not local, you can get the kits for the build. But you can talk to Anders directly from that, and he is November Romeo 6 Hotel. All right. Thanks so much for the feedback on Anders' picture. That was great. And let's move on to Carol, KP4MD, the goddess of YouTube transmissions and making things work right for us, especially on Slow Scan TV. Carol, are you ready to send a picture?
Affirmative, and this picture is going to be PD120.
Thanks, KP4MD, for this. This is Kilo India 1, Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City Arcs Slow Scan TV Net. So I'm going to trip up to Joel, AI6DG, and ask you to tell us what you see here.
Excellent reception. The normal minor assortment of various colored pops, repeater ID bar across the top, about a quarter of the way down, and I gather ARL is going to have a booth up at the Rockland Maker Fair on October 7th, because that's what this says. Special event station, N6M, October 7th, 2023, Rockland Maker Fair, the DIY magic of amateur radio, American Radio Relay League, ARL.org, technology, education. Okay, and we've got some characters overlaid on top of each other, so I'm having trouble reading the rest of it. And it looks like a standard graphic. So that's it. Back to net, N6NA.
That's Joel. Bob, do you have anything to add to that?
No, not really. Carol is always good at making announcements, and this time she gave us one in addition to a verbal description in 6PGQ.
Copy that. The bottom lettering is AI6DG 595D or day KP4MD. Just an add on there. All right, KP4MD, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. This is it's a announcement for the amateur radio exhibit that's going to be at the Rockland Maker Fair coming on October 7th. The DIY Magic of Amateur Radio. There is actually, I believe, a YouTube video called that the ARRL put up, and the do-it-yourself has a lot to do with the maker movement, and that's kind of what the motto is for our exhibit. And we're planning to have a special event station there. We're looking for people who would like to participate, bring a Go kit, and operate from our exhibit. We'll have about usually we have about 3 canopies there with tables and some chairs set up. It's very comfortable this time of the year, October 7th, and it's a lot of young people come to these things, and some regular adult people as well. The last event that we had like this was in 2019. It was before the pandemic, and they reported 8,000 visitors, and it's going to be on the campus of the Sierra College up there in Rockland. So if you like to do any kind of field events, field day, parks on the air, stuff like that, you want to set up portable, you'll be very welcome to come and operate and just interact with the public. So it's a great opportunity to publicize amateur radio in our service. So that's it. Back to you. This is KP4 Mike Delta.
Thanks so much, Carol. Let me check and see if there's anybody else out there. This is Kilo India 1 at Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City Arcs Slow Scan TV Net. Are there any other folks that would like to join us this evening? All right, well, I guess it's my turn. I think we've hit everybody else that can send something. So I'm going to send a picture PD120. So just a second.
Question?
Go ahead.
Carol, is this the same weekend as Pacificon, or did they offset it?
No, this is actually 2 weeks before Pacificon. Fortunately, it's the same weekend as the California QSO party, so there's going to be plenty of activity on the air. But if you can make it, it would be we would love to have you at our exhibit.
What modes?
We can operate anything. If you want to set up FT8, that's fine, because that's something that the young people really like to see is digital communications. If you want to set up voice, that's good too. Have people to talk on the microphone over.
Okay, thanks for the info. I'll be in touch. Back to net, AI6DG.
Copy that, Joel and Carol. Thanks very much for the information. For those of you that haven't gotten your tickets yet, Pacificon, I think, is October, 21st or something like that, 22nd, somewhere around there that weekend. down in the Bay Area. And that's it for right now, and I'm going to send a picture PD120. Alrighty, this is Kilo India 1 Tango Tango Yankee, and you're listening to the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net that starts at 9 on 441.300. Right, I'm going to go to NR6H, Anders, November Romeo 6 Hotel. What do you think?
So I got a relatively clean picture. I got some of that audio echo maybe, but a very short echo. It looks like ripples across the image, consistently across the whole thing. I got some shading going on the top right corner. What I see is a classical wooden deck chair. They have a name, something beginning with an A, I think, Aaron or Adrian or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, we have a couple of these out in our backyard, but they are single-seater. This is a two-seater, which is something I've never seen before. So this is a sofa version of that wooden deck chair, which is kind of cool. Never seen that before. Very neat. NR6H, back to net.
Thanks very much, Anders. Carol, your comments?
Yeah, I agree. It looks like something like maybe a redwood love seat. What do you say about that? Very good picture. Yeah, there is a very, very fine diagonal cross-hatching from the upper left down to the lower right, and I'm not sure what that's from. Kind of like a moire pattern, as Joel normally describes that. And then there is a band at the very lower extreme, across the lower extreme of the picture, which of course was the repeater ID. So back to nets, KP for MT.
Thanks so much, Carol. And Bob or Joel, would you like to add any additional comments?
Adirondack chair, that's the style. Although the armrests and the fact that it's double is unusual.
I would comment that it's on a nice deck, and behind it may be, I don't know, since it's washed out, maybe sand or a beach of some kind. So I'd be interested to hear from Carol and see what it is.
it as a double curve back. I've done doubles that are flat backs, but I really like the aspect of the curved back. It's pretty cozy. And the redwood on the arms was new, but the redwood on the slats across the seat and the back reused very old redwood, and that's why it's such a dark purple when oiled. And I used a couple different oils to make it that way. And it's one of my favorite, actually, this is one of my favorite benches that I've done. And it's super comfortable if you don't mind having to kind of sling yourself out of it. This went to, I think, friends of mine that got married. I think that's who's got it. Otherwise, it's at my partner's house, my ex-partner's house, one of the two, because I made her a set of singles for her front porch and actually a table to go in between. But this is part of Jen's workshop. Dustin commented, a couple of dozen pixel pops, no tilts, good colors, very subtle diagonal, got the repeater ID interface under the call sign, lovely dark wood, porch seating, large armrest, very nice. Yeah, the one thing that I did intentional here is that I make the armrest very large so that you can accommodate a decent cocktail. And I also made some additional edits. Normally these are 1-inch. Made with 1-inch wood, and I prefer the 2-inch heavy duty. Slats are screwed, but everything else is bolted to ensure that this stays together. And I also use wing nuts because I happen to like those for the tightening and swelling. I mean, I could use double nuts, but it's easier to get fingers on a wing nut and to tighten it. So, any other comments? Well, this is on my list, my to-do list of actually making a couple more, because I've got enough wood in my wood pile to make a couple more benches for myself, because I've actually given all the ones that I've made away. I've done some in cedar and some in redwood and some in hardwood, and I think almost all of them are still out there. I think there's only one that was 25 years old that finally fell apart, but I think I still have the hardwood pieces to remake into something else. Well, this is the River City Arcs Slow Scan TV Net on 441-300, and we've had a lovely evening of pictures. And I wanted to see if there's any other comments. I think Dustin says I have to learn more about modes to, let's see, to keep it the diagonal from the inner mode. I can't, hold on a second. Maybe Carol can read the rest of it because part of it's cut off on my screen. It's something like to keep the diagonal from intermod or a digital artifact. I think that's it. But any other comments? And Carol, can you clarify Dustin's comment for me?
Yeah, that's a good question. Dustin wants to know if this is the diagonal effect that you were seeing on there, because I think Anders also noticed it. Is that on your original picture? It may be an artifact of the conversion of the photograph into the PD120 mode, possibly, but it looks like sometimes you'll see that sort of thing if there's a heterodyne on the signal, but it also could be an artifact of the conversion of the mode. Do you have that also on your original there, Jen? Over.
No, it's not on my original picture. It's actually pretty good quality on my original picture. This tends to wash it out. I haven't tried some of the other modes, and it could be just how I've got my setup here with my laptop. I've got YouTube on mute, but I've got YouTube running in the background to watch what's going on and to keep up with Dustin, Craig, and who's our other person out here? Andrew, to keep up with them. So it might be that. Well, anybody else? Any other comments for the net tonight? Well, Andrew, Craig, Dustin, Bob, Joel, Anders, Carol, thanks so much for joining the Slow Scan TV Net tonight. wonderful pictures and stories. Love it every week when I can participate, and I think this is just great. And I'm glad that we could get participation from our folks on the web. Thanks to all who participated, and we hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Don't forget to find those fun and interesting pictures to talk about. And the net is officially closed at 9:50. And this is Jen, Kilo India 1, Tango Yankee, wishing you all a good evening and a good week, and stay cool, and hopefully your air conditioners hold up to these hot days. And Anders, if you could hang out for a minute, I have a couple questions from last night, from Tuesday night. Thanks so much. 73.
Thank you, Jen, for excellent net. And yes, I will hang out.